It's so impressive how many guests you have lined up in advance of actually recording, the episodes. And I'm sure people are emailing all the time or trying to contact you all the time about being on your show. And have you ever gotten to a place where there were no inquiries and you had to go find people? I'm sure you reach out to certain people that you'd love to have on the show, but at the same time, I'm sure you're getting a ton of requests to be on the show like mine. Has there ever been a moment where you didn't have anybody lined up and you weren't getting responses from people you were inviting? You were like, oh no, what am I going to do for the next episode?
Very early on. I mean, like anything, I've always figured my philosophy is a imperfect something is better than a perfect nothing. So just get going.
Yeah.
And figure it out as I go. Like, I don't bore the guest to tears by spending 2 to 3 minutes talking about my books and where to buy them before we start the interview. I just record that before time. I made Hugh Howey sit and listen to me talk about my books for 2.5 minutes before we started. Like, what the hell's wrong with me? Anyway. So just learn and you stop doing that. Yeah. No, what was I going to say? As far as the show goes, no, because when I first started it, it was live. So those early episodes are something else. What I figured out was I was putting them up just as soon as I had them. So I'd have a week where I had 3 episodes hit. And before the first one, it really gained enough traffic, it'd be knocked out of place by the next 2. And so I just kept recording at about the same pace and just started holding them and said, okay, well, every Saturday you get an episode, and that's it. And so far, it's working. And if I miss a week or it just doesn't happen, well, it's a free show, man. Yeah. The archives get more of the traffic. Right. You get what you paid for. It's fine. I do. Obviously, you want to be consistent with content, and I want to keep YouTube's algorithm building up, because that's what's frustrating me is iTunes and Spotify went like immediately. The websites have, that's over a decade that I've been doing that now. So that's the traffic's there. It's just YouTube's bugging me. It's like, I think 200 and some odd subscribers at the moment, trending toward 300. But come on, man. Not because I'm so awesome, but have you seen the guests that have been on this show? Where
yeah.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that drives me a little bit nuts. But all that to say that, I just learned through trial and error that making sure that every week it's better to be consistent than to have a whole lot of great content followed by a month of nothing where the algorithms just drop off completely.
Yeah. That was the other frustrating thing about COVID is that I was on this every week, upload a video to YouTube, and then 4 weeks of nothing, like kind of a reset. Not that the algorithm has picked up anything that I've done. I don't think it has at all. But that's really frustrating when you have a frequency, you have a rhythm, and then you stop and you know that the algorithm's dependent on, consistency. So I need to get back on get the train back on the rails and do it. So, well, how long has your show been going? When did you first start it? When was episode 1?
I'd have to look. Like 3 years ago, I think. And there was a huge, there was 4 or 5 months between episode 1 and episode 2, because episode 1 was just my homie from Laura Martin from my critique group was like, hey, you want to do a thing for your book and see what happens? So yeah. And I was terrified, but she's such a fantastic presenter that she carried the show. And I was like, whoa, I sound amazing because I just let her talk. I could do that.
I love
it. That was, let's see here. What was the date on that? That was June 6th of 2018. So about the same time you were getting started.
Okay. Man, awesome. That is awesome.
Nice and slow and steady. But I got lucky, right? No, not lucky. That's the wrong word, because I have been running the site for, a decade this year. So I had enough credibility from all the authors and literary agents I'd featured there that I put the Middle Grade Ninja name. I'm not starting from nothing.
Right.
But episode 4, episode 5, I had Mary Cole on here. which is crazy. That should be like episode 70 or episode 80 when you really built up to it. And just right away, there's Mary Cole, and then my friend Susan K. Quinn shows up. Jeff Norton, Darby Carshute, just everybody in that top 10 just right away, like John Cusick. Literary agent John Cusick should have been episode 200, episode 9. So I just got lucky right out of the gate.
Yeah. Man, that's phenomenal.
And it's a tremendous leap of faith on their part, because there was no reason to think I knew what I was doing, nor have I demonstrated that, I think, since. So I'm amazed that people continue to show up. I joke with my wife that the show's over when people just get tired of it. All right, well, it was a good run. We had fun. That'll be it.
Oh, man. Well, you've done a phenomenal job and built up a great podcast and a great following. You've had awesome guests, and I am absolutely thrilled that you were open to having me on. So thank you. And it being my first experience doing this, someone said, you should see if you could get on a podcast that you listen to. And I said, well, couldn't hurt to ask. Might as well ask. And man, thank you for the opportunity.